Hello, I am Christy. Welcome to the Chirp YouTube channel. I am your friendly online speech language pathologist and specialist in children's communication development, which includes, of course, as you know, behavior, because behavior is a type of communication. Today is another video in our series on play and why play is important and how we can foster improved play skills. In today's video, we're going to talk about the stages of play. Typically, children move through these stages in order, and as they're ready to jump to the next stage, they kind of dabble in it a bit before solidifying those skills. And we do have typical age ranges for each of the stages, but if a child has communication delays or cognitive delays, then of course play stages are likely to also be delayed. And this is something that we definitely can work on and will work on in this series. The first stage we're going to discuss, and keep in mind that there is still discussion and evolving research in the area of play. It is not necessarily totally settled science, but there is agreement that traditionally in the early years of life, children go through these 6 stages. There may be more stages, there probably are more stages, and there definitely are lots of different types of play, which we will talk about in a separate video. By types of play, I mean the purpose of the play, what the play is accomplishing. That will be in a separate video. In this video, it is about the ability of the child in the play activity to explore the world and the people around her. The first stage that we're going to discuss typically takes place between birth and about 3 months old, and it is called unoccupied play. Typically, this involves the baby moving around his hands and his feet and his head and wiggling. The child is not engaged in any particular activity. The child is simply moving around. And this is play because it's enjoyable, because it is child-directed, and because it's fun. The best way to foster this type of play is to put the baby on a flat surface and let the baby do what the baby naturally does. However, we can increase the likelihood that the child will move around if we give him something interesting to look at. Maybe a mobile, maybe something with bright colors, or a toy sitting very close by that is attractive. We're not talking about screens at this point. Screens can be damaging for children's development. So in none of this will I recommend any sort of screen, including tablet time, even if it's a game that the child is playing. In my mind, that is an absolute no before the age of 2 and a probable no before the age of 5. That is based on studies, but also on my own opinion and experience. The next stage of play is called solitary play. And obviously what we just discussed, the unoccupied play, is also solitary. So that is part, we would say that this stage goes from 0 to about 2 years of age, where children prefer to play by themselves. Now, of course, there are lots of reasons for this. Playing by ourselves is much easier than trying to coordinate all of those skills involved in play that we discussed in the last video. It's very difficult to manage my emotional regulation, my sensory system, my language skills, all of these things. It's difficult to manage all of those with another person. And it's a lot easier to keep myself calm when I'm just by myself. I don't have to worry about someone else understanding what I'm saying. I don't have to know a lot of vocabulary. If I need a break, I can just take a break. I don't have to tell anyone. You can see why it's much simpler when our skills are still limited, why we would prefer to play by ourselves. In this type of play, we want to encourage the child to explore the world and experience new things. So we might have cause and effect toys where the child can push a button and something happens. I don't really like toys where you push a button and a noise happens. For example, an animal noise or someone says words. I really prefer that children provide the vocalizations for toys rather than the toy providing those sounds. However, there are lots of cause and effect toys that children can explore, such as some kind of marble run that's appropriate to the age. There are also car runs. I have a wooden one that is fantastic, that the child puts it at the top and then the car just zooms down the ramp, and it's very cool. Anything that's going to engage the child and get her to interact more with the world around her in an interested way is going to encourage building these skills. The next stage is called onlooker play, because the child is looking on at other things that are happening, typically other children playing. The child, under discussion, may be watching older siblings play. The child may be watching peers play, or the child may be watching an adult do adult things like cooking or cleaning and be paying attention so that later those things can become part of her play. The best way to foster skills in this area is to encourage children to watch and comment. You can comment on what other people are doing, such as, look, brother's car's crashed. Oh no, what will they do? Or, sister is driving a red car. Wow, she is driving next to brother who's driving a blue car. They're having fun. And you can, of course, discuss some of what happens when there are disagreements during play or some sort of crisis. You can talk about and point out how other children are solving those crises. You can also discuss what you're doing around the house with your children. It's good to keep talking to our kids as much as possible because they learn from language and they learn from social interaction. They benefit from what we say, even if they can't understand it. They learn prosody, which is the musicality of our language, and they learn eye contact, and they learn how to listen, and they watch facial expressions, and they feel loved and cared for because we're interacting with them, and they connect and bond because of communication, even if they don't understand the words themselves. So keep on talking to your child as you're washing the dishes. I am so glad I have this dish. Grandma gave this to me. I'm going to put it in the dishwasher. Oh no, this fork fell on the floor. Now we have to wash it because it's dirty. These kind of things. Very easy and very nice ways to get our children to be better watchers. The next stage of play is the parallel play stage. This stage is where children play parallel to each other. They're not crossing over into each other's lanes. They're driving side by side. A way to foster this is I might have 2 medical play sets and 2 toy babies. And the 2 children might be helping the babies at the same time with the same sets of equipment, but they're not working with the same actual equipment and they're not working on the same toy babies. So they are playing in parallel. You might see this a lot with building things, blocks or connects or magnet things, or you might see this a lot with cars or vehicles, or even toy people and toy houses, because it's very easy to have 2 adult people, both adult people go to bed, both adult people sit at a table and eat, but the adult people are not interacting, and the children who are pretending to be the adult people don't interact with each other. This is parallel play. It's an important stage, and we can encourage it by having similar sets of toys, or by playing alongside our child while she is driving cars, we also drive cars, and we watch each other, we imitate each other, but we're not necessarily interacting. Although, of course, interaction is always the goal because we want communication, because communication is the basis for human interaction and learning. So, of course, we want to get there. We don't want to remain in parallel play forever. The next stage is associate play. And this is where children are interacting. Perhaps while we're playing house, the mom and the dad actually give each other a hug before someone goes to work, or they both go to work, or someone takes the kids to school. Maybe one of the children who plays the mom puts a child to bed and the child is played by the other child. Maybe they're playing cars and one child's car crashes into the other child's car. This is associate play. They're interacting instead of just playing side by side. By the way, parallel play usually happens at 2 years plus, and associate play usually happens at 3 years plus. So there can be overlap. It depends on the child. It depends on the social development and the communication development and the sensory regulation that the child has. All of these things affect play development, but none of them mean that the child can't advance through these stages. I would like to take a little pause before we get to the 6th and final stage of play we're going to discuss in this video, and say that if your child seems to be stuck in play or in any other area of development, please get some professional assistance. You cannot be expected to learn all these things yourselves and treat your own child's delays. And the sooner that they are treated, the more progress your child is likely to make, because he or she did not get as far behind. Think of it as we're all on a freeway moving forward towards ultimate maturity. And if your child gets off on an exit A, shall we say, at 3 months old, the sooner you get back on the freeway so that you can make appropriate development, appropriate headway towards the goal, then your child is bound to catch up faster. If you wait until the child has already missed 10 exits, it's going to be harder to backtrack and learn those missed skills. Don't wait if you see concerns, and make sure that whichever professional you speak to takes you seriously when you say that you have concerns about your child. It's not the end of the world. Progress can happen and help is available. Of course, I don't know where in the world you are, where in the country you are. Things are a little more challenging if you are in a more rural area, or if you are in countries that maybe don't have as many special ed professionals available. So if you don't have anyone to turn to, please email me and I will communicate with you about some strategies that you can use to help your children, more specific strategies for your particular child. And I can offer you resources that are tailored to your child. So feel free to contact me if you have no other options. But in the link below this video, I also have put a link to find a speech language pathologist in your area. In the area of play, my favorite types of treatment providers are speech language pathologists, because communication is our thing and play is a type of communication. So don't hesitate. That was my little spot in the middle of this video. And now we will move on to the last stage of play, which is cooperative play. Cooperative play usually happens at 4+ years. And cooperative play, of course, means that we are creating an imaginary world and inhabiting it together. If we are playing spaceship, then it makes sense that either we're both aliens, or one of us is an alien, or we are space astronauts. The world makes sense that we create together, and we are playing in it by building ideas together, building the world that we are creating together. you can encourage this stage of development by providing a little extra support so that kids can share their ideas with each other by being a good model. Let's say the children decide that they want to be astronauts. You can say, let's build a spaceship. Here's a humongous box. What does a spaceship look like? And then, of course, the children can either look at pictures of spaceships and then try to make their box look like that, or you can say, okay, discuss together. Do you want your spaceship to be blue or red? Have them make decisions together. Have them decide on roles together. You be the astronaut. I'll be the alien. Or I'll be Houston. You be in the ship. You can come up with some of the parameters for their imaginary game and then let them take the lead in how they decide to play it out. And of course, you can help with communication breakdowns because those will also happen. There you have it. Those are the generally agreed upon 6 stages of play in early development. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it made you excited about what might be coming in upcoming videos, because there's always more to say about play. And play is really important and fun. And we can have fun with our kids playing. And they also can have fun with each other. And they can have fun by themselves sometimes too. It is a great area to think about and to ponder. So I recommend that you subscribe and you cling the little bell so that you will know when my next video has been posted. There are lots more videos on play to come. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.